This clip was taken from my Twitch live stream where I stream every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time PM. And join the discussion with us. Enjoy the video. The General's Handbook 2021 is on a ring binder now. You guys have no idea how happy I am about this. You have no idea how happy I am that this is on a ring binder. Because the reason for that is it lays flat. I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to break the spine of my books just so it sits there. Or do this. Yeah, break the spine like you break chaos. So they have all the points separate like they have done previously, which I like. It cuts down on the weight. I don't need the points with me when I go to tournaments because all the points and all that stuff have been done already. You know, I don't need this to come with me. I just need this when I'm list building. So I can, if I'm building lists, I just bring this. I don't need to bring this. Sadly, bills came. They're learning, chat. They're learning. And then they got a table of contents. Oh my goodness. Got a table of contents. What will they do next? Tabs? Wait a minute. Chat. There's tabs. I need to go to the pitch battles. Do I need to go to the battle plans? Maybe I need to go to endless spells. You know? Take me right to the endless spells. Get all the endless spells redone in here. All of them. Well, all the generic ones that aren't in the FAQs. Yeah, they're learning. You got tabs. And guess what? They got core rules. They got the core rules in here, chat. You don't need to get the big rule book anymore. You just get the GHB now. Like, they got absolutely it's exactly the same. It's just a miniaturized, essentially a miniaturized rulebook. Now, they had done this previously, and they have a rules index. So if you have oh, I need to find triggers. Okay, that's on page 61. Okay. Boom. And triggered effects. They knocked this book out of the park with this. We're gonna get into the nitty gritty with it. My only downside is that one of my pages was actually not bound in here. It was just floating in the center of it, and I had to dig everything out. So I had to dig everything out of these binding and then rebind it. But I mean, I was able to do that, so it wasn't that big of a deal. It's just I got one of the defected ones. Quit feeling up your book. It looks creepy. I will do as I please. Now, it's not a bookmark technically, but it can act as one. It's just like keep it closed. But yeah, like say you're playing on, go to the battle plans. Let's go to Apex Predators, right? Say we're playing on Apex Predators, we can lock that in there, right? And then we can get a quick reference, flip it back and forth, rub it slowly. It's what Slanesh wants. Just like that. General's Handbook 2021. They changed the art a little bit, which is nice. I like how they're changing the look. Um, Contents is a big win, big giant win. And then we have the pitch battles. They have everything that you need to know right here as a quick reference. Uh, Everything you need right here if you're brand new. Everything you need right here if you're brand new of what you need to do. Then all this here. Then it even shows you if you're doing a pickup game with your friends or someone at the store. You can go on battle plan table 1 or 2 because there's 12 missions. So then you got the realm rules, which is something they've never really done before. Is that the whole GHB is set in Gurish Heartlands. So every single game that you play in this time round, let's say season, will be in the realm of Gur. Right? So you got the realm sphere magic, metamorphosis is a spell that has a casting value of 5 in the range of 12. If successfully cast, pick one friendly hero that is not a monster and that is within range of visible caster. The hero gains the monster keyword for your next hero phase. That's huge, especially since everything you get, like we'll get to the battle plans, you get bonuses for being monsters. Like the realm. And then you got 2 core battalions in here that are not in the core rulebook. So you got the Alpha Beast Pack. These apex creatures use their acute senses to detect the whereabouts of their prey after armies have been set up. But before the first battle round begins, you can make a normal move up to D6 with each unit in this battalion. So, Lemon, you might like this one for your Gargants. You get to move them a D6 before the first round of the monsters and stuff, or the behemoths. Bandwagoner? Bandwagoner? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Bandwagoner? But so we got all the battle tactics. Came with the battle tactics on here. So that you got Ferocious Advance on this side, then you have the Savage Spearhead on this side. So, and it came with a whole bunch of these little tokens. I'm not exactly sure what I'll use these for, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what these are actually supposed to be used for. No, there's like so many. There's no way these are for objectives. I mean, you could use them for objectives, but I don't know. Maybe command points. I don't know. Tokens. You can always use And then battle plans. So we got 12 in total. And we got so there's 2 charts. Now some local tournaments will run the D6 system and will roll the missions for an RTT. I generally do that for like if I'm not really concerned about what we get, and I tell my players ahead of time that we're going to be rolling for the battle plans. But most of the time, I will select one ahead of time. The 2 charts just doesn't really affect me for the most part, but I do like the fact that they're giving us 12. I am not looking forward to this one in person. This game, this is the one I played as my first game in person. The setup for this is a pain in the butt. So it's 15 inches, and then I think it was 11. Yeah, I don't. This one, like this, I don't know. There's no measurements whatsoever on any of this. On what's the length of this? So it's cut into 5s. There's no 4s, then 4s. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what the exact measurements were. I think it was like 11 and 15. I remember this was the length was 15. I think this was 11, but I could be wrong. I'm gonna go full metal jacket, drill instructor. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Like I prefer these. Like the straight deployment types is ideal, but I understand why they want to have different looking ones. But like that one's just crazy. I don't know if I'm ever gonna like even this one's a little off the rails. This one's off the rails a little bit. So like this is 2.5 feet, right? And then this is 22 inches. And then you got this, and then here, I don't know. So this is 11, 15, 15. Something like that. But yeah. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through all the missions one by one, and that way we can all get a better understanding of what they are all about. Each one, the one major thing I love about the AOS rule set is the missions. So actually, let's start with battle tactics and grand strategies. So we'll do grand strategies first, and then we'll go to battle tactics. So grand strategies, after you've picked your army, you must pick one grand strategy from the list below and record it on your army roster. At the end of the battle, if you completed your grand strategy, you score an additional victory point. You score additional victory points as described in the battle plan you are playing. Okay, so sever the head. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are no heroes from your opponent's starting army on the battlefield. Right? Why would my army ever not pick the last one? It is domain. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if you control more terrain features than your opponent. Well, I mean, yours. That see, this is the great part about that. That makes no sense for me. I wouldn't even care about that. Like, you're forcing me to play differently because you want to do that, Flukes. So this is what makes this such a neat and unique system, is that this makes sense for you because you want to control your trees, and your army functions and works better in that way, where to you want your trees to matter. You want you know what I mean? So you want to pick this because you're gonna have your army trying to control these as much as possible at all times. I take hold the line. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are any battle line units from your starting army on the battlefield. So hold the line makes sense for me. The fire slayers are very, very difficult to kill all our battle line. If you've killed all my battle line, you've destroyed my army, because my army is the battle line. Right. So Lemon, that makes complete sense for you. I have a feeling they're gonna have to tweak this a little bit because a lot of armies are gonna be taken. Vendetta. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if the model chosen to be your opponent's general has been slain and the model chosen to be your general has not been slain. Vendetta, that one makes sense if, like, you have either really good shooting or you have more control on your speed of your army, or you can almost guarantee that you're going to get into their squishy generals line. Say, like, I'm up against Marathi, let's say. If I don't kill Marathi, I lose. So I'm going to pick Vendetta because Marathi needs to die, and then if I kill Marathi, then I do get that. I do get Vendetta. Unless she hasn't been selected as the general, then it won't make sense. But say there's someone like Archeon or something, and you need to kill Archeon, otherwise he's just gonna mop the floor with you. Well, then you should pick Archeon as your Vendetta, or your grand strategy should be Vendetta, because if you don't kill Archeon, you're probably gonna lose that game anyways. Right? So, dominating presence. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are more units from your starting army on the battlefield than there are units from your opponent's starting army on the battlefield. Another good one for me as Fire Slayers. Fire Slayers, this is another really good one. Or if I'm up against Giants. You know, because I have a lot more units than Giants do. Right? Beastmaster. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are any monsters from your starting army on the battlefield. See, that's another thing right there, Lemon. That's another great one for you. Providing that your Gargants are considered monsters. Which I think they are. Because if you get tabled, you're likely to lose the game, right? But if you don't get tabled, then at least you're guaranteed to get this point. Prize sorcery. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are any wizards from your starting army on the battlefield. That's another really good one if you have maybe Hollow Heart, where you have a lot of magic going around. And if you lose all your magic, you're likely to lose that game. And your whole purpose is to try and keep them alive the whole game. Pillars of Belief. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there's any priests from your starting army left on the battlefield. That can be good, but I don't know why you wouldn't pick one of the other ones above this, like above these two. Priests, you don't generally have a bunch of priests running around, but you generally do have a lot of wizards because their utilities, they have a lot more utility. Although priests have become a little bit more useful in this new edition, but they're not as pivotal as the wizards are. Predator's Domain, like Luke's was saying, why would Sylvaneth not take this one? Because yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Your army is likely to have control of more terrain pieces than your opponent, because you're putting down the terrain pieces and you want control of them, so that way you can use them and utilize them. And okay, so that's grand strategies. Each mission will determine how much these are worth, and we'll find out if there's any like big differences. During my first game, this is what took a lot of time. This is what has me a little worried about time rounds and people running out of time and basically forcing the chess clocks debate all over again. There's a lot of deciding to do, and you can only pick one battle tactic from this list below. You must reveal this choice to your opponent, and if the battle tactic instructs you to pick something, you must tell your opponent what you pick. You have until the end of the turn to complete this battle tactic. You do not pick, and you cannot pick the same battle tactic more than once per battle. So you need to pick the right one at the right time. This will make all the difference in the game when it comes to a close game. The objectives and holding the objectives will give you the most points, but here will make and break ties. If your opponent is getting more and more of these and getting those additional victory points from the monsters, which is pretty huge, it can add up and can get them out of a deficit. So let's go with broken ranks. When you reveal this battle tactic, pick one battle line unit from your opponent's starting army on the battlefield. You complete this battle tactic if the unit is destroyed during this turn. If that unit was destroyed by an attack made by a friendly monster or an ability of a friendly monster, score an additional victory point. So there's 2 victory points on the line here. And this is why everybody's going crazy for monsters on this edition, because those extra additional victory points are going to be breaking ties. They're going to be very, very crucial when it comes to a close match, and this will make or break a victory. And then you got Conquer. When I reveal this battle tactic, pick one objective marker on the battlefield that your opponent controls. You complete this battle tactic if you control the objective marker at the end of this turn. Honestly, I would pick this near the end. Near the end of the game. It's one of the easier ones to do. You're going to have probably less units than your opponent, or have less units to do stuff with. This one is, I picked this one too early in my game, and it came back and bit me in the ass. This is one of the ones. This is one of the late game ones that you want to pick when you need it. Because if you have a chance, and it's say turn 3 or 4, that's when you use this, right? Do not pick this one too early just because it's easy. Pick this one when you're slowly running out of selections to pick, and maybe some of these are just not viable for you whatsoever, and you're going to be forfeiting a turn and that sort of stuff. Like broken ranks, you shouldn't pick that right away unless you're guaranteed to kill that unit, unless you're hitting it with a sledgehammer or 2. And hopefully you have a monster nearby which can actually finish the unit for you. That would be massive. Okay, so we got Slay the Warlord. Kind of self-explanatory. You complete the battle tactic if the model chosen to be your opponent's general is slain during this turn. If that model was destroyed by an attack made by a monster or an ability of a friendly monster, score 1 additional victory point. This one's gonna be very situational. You better make sure that you can do it if you're gonna select this. You know what I mean? This one never really came up in our game, and I never had a chance to really kill them. So it's like, so that was one less I had to pick from this list. You know, so when you're first going up against your opponent, you want to go through this list and find which ones, and trying to find that perfect balance of, okay, so this one's one of the easiest ones to do, so maybe I should leave that for last, or one of the last terms. All right. So when you play test this, you're gonna want to kind of break down how and the pacing that you need to do to optimize your play. So you got Ferocious Advance. When you reveal the battle tactic, pick 3 different units from your starting army on the battlefield, and you complete this battle tactic if all the units you picked run in the following movement phase and finish within 3 inches of each other. If all 3 of these units are monsters, score an additional victory point. I don't see a lot of people getting the extra victory point unless you're Gargants, but yeah, this one's one of the like first ones you do, because you're gonna want, you don't even have, you just have to say, okay, they're running, and then not actually move them that far. You know what I mean? Just make sure they end within 3 inches of each other. So you get 2 characters and a unit, and they just kind of shift them forward. Bring it down. Pick an enemy monster on the battlefield. You can complete this battle tactic if unit is destroyed during this turn. If the enemy monster was destroyed by an attack made by a friendly monster or ability of a friendly monster, score an extra victory point. This one's going to be very situational, but it's going to be crucial. Or man crushers can run, then be allowed to charge. Right, exactly. Right, so that wouldn't be like Lemon. That's almost like an auto for you turn 1. You know what I'm saying? And then you're getting 2 points right out of the gate, and your opponent's already on the back foot. You know, or maybe that's something you pick on the back end, because you don't really want to get into combat, and you really just want to be standing there and holding the objectives. Maybe you save that for turn 5. You know, if they don't have the power, if they're not killing your units fast enough, maybe you save that for later. Yep. But I would probably do that first. Do that really early because you're going to be so low on unit numbers. Aggressive expansion. When you reveal this battle tactic, pick 2 objective markers on the battlefield that are not wholly within your territory and complete this battle tactic if you control both objective markers at the end of this turn. So this is something you'd set up for, like, say you started out with Ferocious Advance, and then turn 2 you went into this. That sort of thing. Or something vice versa, right? So you go, this needs some setup from the previous turn. Maybe this is something you'd use when you get into a double turn, right? Where you're almost guaranteed to steal the objective the next turn. And since you get the double, you have the initiative and you can steal it that way. When you reveal this battle tactic, so monsters take over. When you reveal this battle tactic, pick 1 monster from the starting army in the battlefield. You complete this battle tactic if the monster is contesting an objective marker that you control at the end of this turn, and that objective marker is not contested by an enemy monster. Okay, so we played this one a little wrong when we played this, but I understand what it's saying now. So you just got to make sure there's no enemy monster nearby, and you need one of your monsters on the objective, and you need the control by the end of the turn. It has nothing to do if your opponent owned that objective before or previously. Mind you, we didn't have the GHB when we played, so we didn't fully remember the full wording of this. But yeah, so this one will be this will be early game, I think, when like maybe first turn. This could be first turn for sure. It just has to be an objective that you control with a monster, and your opponent isn't on it with you. And then Savage Spearhead, you complete this battle tactic if there are 2 or more units from the starting army wholly within your opponent's territory at the end of this turn. If 2 or more of those are monsters, score 1 additional victory point. I mean, this is another one that's probably end game for you. Like turn 3 on or turn 4 on. Not every army will be able to do, but this is an end gamer. And then we're gonna be kind of dissecting the new rules for the missions and stuff. And I'm gonna give a little bit of my opinion on some of them.
I don't know why I wasn't in here earlier.
Because you're a vampire and I have to ask you.
No, I kind of completely forgot that joke thing. Not even gonna lie about that.
Okay. Yeah, heads up on that. Okay, so did you have any questions on the grand and battle tactics?
Not really. The monstrous takeover one confuses my brain with how it says contests and not hold.
Right. Although it says contest.
It says contest and then hold.
Right. So
that looking at that, it doesn't make much sense to my brain.
So, and that's how me and Spleen Thief played it wrong initially, and could cause issues down the road for people that are new. But I don't like, you didn't have to take it with the monster. You just had to contest it with the monster, and just own the objective by the end of the turn. It didn't
Yeah.
have to be specifically the monster that gave you that. You know what I mean? Because there's some missions that I don't know if they will have any here, but they might only be able to be taken by heroes. And not everybody has a hero behemoth.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah. So that's probably why they worded it that way. Because that way you are technically contesting it with that monster, but you can't technically hold it. So that could be part of the reason why they worded it that way. But we'll know when we get to the missions if there is anything like that. If there is anything like that, then there's a reason why they worded it that way. If there isn't any, then I'm gonna be going wordings like letter salad for what reason? Time for bed.
Instructions unclear.
Night, Chad, and Shorty. Have a good night, Physics. Thanks for hanging out. I hope to have this video out soon, and then you can watch the rest of this and my hot takes. I got Lemon here, which is brand new to AOS, and he's learning all this all at once. Not confusing at all.
So I'll be the one asking the stupid questions.
Yay! All right. So each player picks an army, and then they roll off. The winner chooses which player is the attacker and defender. The defender sets up the battlefield first. They set up objectives as shown on the map. Then they set up the recommended number of terrain features. Now, you won't be doing this at a tournament, but I mean, this is for match play, so you're going to be running into getting games at the local gaming store or at your club or whatever. By the way, does Suns have the ability to kick an objective? Yes, they do.
Yes.
The Kraken Eater can kick objectives around, which is hilarious, by the way. I played against them. So much fun. And they were kicking it away from me, so it was like still fun. They were kicking away from my stunty little legs, and I was just chasing it. Oh, it was hilarious. The attacker picks which territory is their territory, and the other territory is the defenders. Okay, so kind of self-explanatory here, right? So they pick whatever side they want on the table. Normally when you have we have mysterious terrain, so normally you would have one that had, say, mystic terrain or healing on one side. So mystic would give you, I think it was allowed you to have a hero or character become a wizard for the parts of denying a power. Now if they didn't have any casters, that they might want to pick this side, because say there was a mystic right here in this little corner, that they could put that hero there so they could try and deny some of your spells, right? So it does make sense, even though most tables are symmetrical. Maybe some tables won't be symmetrical, at least one can hope. Starting from the third battle round, one player immediately wins a major victory if they control all the objectives on the battlefield. Oh, okay. All right. So they came back and marking territory. So they came back and remade this one. So they've had this battle mission before, where it was the four corners here, the battle round 3. So both players get to play, and whoever owns all 4 of these automatically wins a major. If neither player has won a major victory by the end of the battle, then the player that completed the most battle tactics wins a minor victory. Ooh, I see. I like this. I really like this. This might actually be in some of my my RTTs. So it makes a real emphasis on your your choices with your battle tactics, and also your grand strategies. If both players completed the same amount of battle tactics, then if only one player completed their grand strategy, that player wins a minor victory. If both players or neither player completed their, it's a draw. Okay, well, like, so this is the one few times where you could probably play for a tie and try and sneak it out with your battle tactics or with your grand strategy, and try and deny your opponent's grand strategy, or try and get yours and try and get more um, battle tactics. But I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. This is 11 inches up. This is 22, 33, and 44. Because it's what's the 40k size table? Is it 44 by 60?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the new size, is 44 by 60.
Okay. I was just making sure that I wasn't going crazy. And I love how they have the Coles notes here. So like, so that you can have this on the table, and then you and your opponent can just kind of glance at it.
Yep.
And it sits flat. It's the best.
Possible stupid question.
Okay.
Because it says the grand strategy, each time you pick it, your opponent's gonna know what your grand strategy is, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to write it down on on the sheet of paper, or tell your opponent, or you should do both. Technically.
I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Okay, so then we got Savage Gains. Defender sets up the battlefield first. Blah blah blah. It's all the same. The objectives located on the border of each player's territory are prime objectives. So here. And I guess that's why these are here, because these are technically prime objectives. And then the others are just regular objectives.
So they are objectives. They're the same symbols they use in the book.
Yeah, they can be. They can be used for objectives. But I don't see them needing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 objectives. Maybe they gave you some extras just in case you lose them.
You're gonna lose them.
Yeah.
And they're cardboard, so you're gonna spill something on one of them and it's gonna get ruined.
So I got a hot take on you for a second. If this is how you're gonna have your objectives, guys, coin holders. Now you can get one that's like perfectly sized for your objectives. But you can put it in a coin holder.
I didn't even look at how big they were.
But yeah, so you could do this.
I'll say that's the size of an American quarter, so yeah.
Right. I do this for my my Star Wars tokens.
Okay.
My Star Wars Legion, because like you'll have say your unit has, it's how you select units, right? So these are always great. You just measure the size of this, and then you get one that's hopefully slightly bigger, because that way, because they're not perfect. Like otherwise you'd have to shave this down, like this little nub you see here. So get one just like slightly bigger than what you think the circumference is.
Yeah, the markers they gave when you got the handbook are almost the exact same size as a regular American quarter. So getting the coin holders for them is going to be really easy.
Yeah. And I mean, you can get like, this is like a silver dollar. And you can still find those because people collect silver dollars, right? So, but anyways, so the attacker, blah blah blah. Each player scores a victory point. Scores victory points at the end of each of their turns, as follows: score 1 victory point if you control the objective on the border of your territory. So, like, say I'm defender, and I hold this one, I get 1 point. If you control an objective that is not on the border of either player's territories, so either of these, you get 2 victory points. And score 4 victory points if you control the objective on the border of your opponent's territory. So, yeah, they've had this one before as well. So they're just doing a slight change to these, and score 2 victory points if you completed the battle tactic you picked that turn. So that's a big. So that doubles the points, right? For what you normally would get on your battle tactic. So swamp bogglers shooting, I think, will be a problem. Why is it just like an obscene amount of shots? But yeah, so like that puts another emphasis on the battle tactics. But like still, like denying the tactics from your opponent and trying to do it as well yourself, while also trying to hold more than your opponent, is still like holding more than your opponent is still the major thing that I'm seeing here. Right? So like as long as you're getting 4 and your opponent's only getting like say 1, or if you're getting 5 a turn, it doesn't matter how well they're doing with their battle tactics, they're not catching up. Each player scores 3 victory points at the end of their battle if they completed their grand strategy. So that's another way of like kind of play the game slightly different. Don't have as much focus on the objectives, but if you don't, then you gotta make sure you're maxing this out, and that's way more dangerous than playing the objective, trying to minimize the damage here and then maximize the damage here. Ranged mortal wound pump. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of that, a lot of mortal wounds that get with shooting nowadays. But you know, it'd be a shame that anything happened to my firewall. Stop that from happening. The player with the most victory points at the end of the battle wins a major victory. If the players are tied on victory points at the end of the battle, then the player that completed the most battle tactics wins a minor victory. So I'm seeing a lot more emphasis on the battle tactics for each turn. But I mean, if you can guarantee you're gonna get more victory points than your opponent, then you should focus on that and don't focus too much on your battle tactics. Because if you focus on that too much and then you overextend and cause you to lose the major victory, that could cause you a spot in the tournament as well. And then there's the draw. If you both have the grand strategy scored as well. So like I'd almost like try and pick your grand strategy, which will be like just how you build your army. Like you should build your army around a grand strategy right out of the gate. and then maybe one or two will be focused around who you're playing against. But most of the time, I would probably pick my building my army around the grand strategy, and then after that, do a soft focus on the battle tactics, just trying to minimize what I'm going to lose. But I'd hard focus on the victory points, because those are the easiest way to guarantee you getting more points than your opponent. Okay, so first blood, same setup as before. At the start of each battle round, after the players have received their start of round command points, the player taking the second turn must pick one objective on the battlefield to be the vantage point. When the player receives their start of round command points, if they control the vantage point, they receive one extra command point. Ooh, okay. So it gives this gives a bonus to another bonus to the person that's going second, because they're gonna probably pick one of the three objectives that they're holding, and probably want to be the focus of the battle. Okay, I'm liking that. It just means the person that's going second is gonna have like 5 command points, like going out of the gate. It's crazy, because they get 2 for going second, 1 for the general, and then 1 for the vantage point now. So they're gonna have 4 command points to your 2. That's nutty. Okay, so score 1 victory point if you control at least 1 objective. Score 1 victory point if you control 2 or more objectives, and score 1 victory point if you control more objectives than your opponent. I like that. That's like old ITC 40k mission style.
That's current 40k scoring.
Is it like that still?
It's lower numbers, but it's control 1, control 2, control more.
Okay. Score 2 victory points if you completed the battle tactic you picked this turn. See, another slight focus in.
So is that in addition to the ones that you would get from completing it?
Yes, so these are victory points, right?
Yeah,
the others are battle tactics. So I don't think they give you victory points.
Yeah, they do. Cause it's like, yada yada.
Oh, they do. Okay, never mind. So I don't think they give you. I think this just gives you 2 victory points if you completed the battle tactic. I don't think you get the battle tactic point plus the 2.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyways, so we got first blood. At the first of each battle round, each players have received their start of round command points, and player taking the second turn must pick one objective on. Wait, we did this one, didn't we? Yeah, we're in the middle of this.
We're at the end of it.
Okay, so each, and then the 3 victory points for the grand strategy. So that it just cementing my plan. Build your army around the grand strategies, and then figure out how the army plays through the battle tactics, and then find the balance. Like focus on the objectives the best as much as you can without overcommitting, but you want to be trying to maximize your battle tactics as much as you can without overcommitting as well. So it's you're balancing a few hats all at the same time, but for the most part you're just trying to maximize your points. Okay, so And basically major, minor, all the same. I don't think we're gonna get anything different here. I think these are gonna be identical all across the board. As a tournament organizer, though, I am looking forward to the victory points actually mattering. Because you're not gonna have complete blowouts, really. You're gonna have closer games, and you're also gonna have, if there was a blowout, you can total the whole amount of points that you can get, and then that way they'll go up against a tougher opponent the next round, and it'll balance out the tournament that way. Because what we were doing with our local tournaments was we tried to we had to make our own pointing system, because the way Age of Sigmar was created for missions, the granularity between points didn't count for anything, because a major victory was a major victory. It was like you got 10 points for a major victory, 5 points for a minor, but there was no points with your tertiaries, or there was no like secondaries that really counted for anything. So I'm looking forward to just throwing that in the total. You know what I'm saying? So like a grand major victory will be, say, 20 points. A minor will be 10, but then you'll total up all these points here. That sort of thing. Or like maybe have a major victory as 50 points. So whoever gets a major victory will have more points than the person that maxed out all these, because you're not going to get 50 points out of 5 battle rounds. Or you can use differential, but we'll as someone that's part of the TO group, we'll be talking about that. We'll definitely be talking about that. I do like differential still, especially for team stuff. It's crucial. Okay, so power struggle. Well, see, it's a 5 objective. The lack of actual secondary is a problem right now. Well, technically, the battle tactics is a secondary. There is no lack of secondary. Those are secondaries. Like if you're tied on victory points, it goes to your it goes to that. Anyways, like secondary for 40k is part of your total, right? You don't have a main objective and then a secondary objective and a third objective. It's just like you can get points this way, or this way, and then whoever has the highest total at the end wins. There's no major victory, minor victory, or tie sort of thing. You know what I mean? There's no major loss or minor loss. 40k is very right. But I don't want to mimic 40k completely. I want it to be different. I don't think they should mimic 40k completely. I don't think that would make sense. In this battle, some hold your ground. In this battle, some victory points are only scored for objectives you control once you have controlled the objective for 2 of your turns consecutively. These turns can carry over into the next battle round. Each player scores victory points at the end of each of their turns as follows: score 1 victory point if you have controlled at least 1 objective for 2 of your turns consecutively. Score 1 victory point if you have controlled 2 or more. and score 1 victory point if you control more objectives than your opponent. I like this mission. So yeah, this one's gonna be power struggle. This will be a very tug of war. Like do I try and deny points from my opponent, or do I just try and hold the ones that I have? This is gonna be a very unique uh battle type. That's exciting. I really like this mission. I think I am for sure gonna run this one at one of my tournaments for sure. It's just such a unique mission. Okay. This one, survival of the fittest. I don't know if I'm ever gonna play that. I'm never gonna run this at a tournament. Guess why, chat? It's the deployment type. This is gonna take people half the day to put this together. This is insane. Because you need to be 9 away from your opponent's deployment zone. So they're gonna put a bubble 9 away from here. From here to here. Right? And then they have to do it from here to here. And then they have to do it from here to here. And then they also have to make this weird staircase thing. This is going to take forever for people that are slow. I don't know, but I think they were on drugs. I am never running. I don't think I'm ever running this at a tournament just because. Just be 9 inches away from each other. Yeah, but Spleen, like, this took a lot longer than we want to admit to even set this up. And we roughly knew what we were doing. Imagine if you're like not like as seasoned of a tournament player as we are. This will take forever for those that are already taking forever to set up their games. Like this could cause time issues just because of the deployment types. Each player, their armies have been set up before determining who has the first turn in the first battle round. Each player must pick 3 different friendly units on the battlefield, starting with the attacker. These units are your predator units for the battle. Huh. Okay. What does that mean? Score 1 victory point if you control at least 1 objective. Score 1 victory point if you control 2 or more. And hold more. Score 1 victory point for each enemy predator unit that was destroyed by a friendly predator unit during that turn. Ooh, I like that. I do like that. Too bad this deployment type will shy us away from using it. This is not something I'm going to be using right away. This is going to be like near the end of the GHB's lifetime. I'll use this mission, I think, or in the middle, where we've already run a couple tournaments. And then you get 2 victory points. You completed the battle tactic you picked that turn. See, if you compare that with your predators, that'd be ideal. But oh man, this deployment type though kind of sours it a little bit. I could already see people taking bloody forever setting this up. We're gonna need to like make a measuring guide for people. Just crazy. Anyways, otherwise it's a really cool mission. Like, you pick 3 friendly units that are going to be your predator units. Yeah, 6 whippy sticks. Yeah, that's all you need. And then you also need to go up 33 inches, and then what would that be?
45.
So yeah, so it's 45 and 33 across, or 33 up. Yeah, I mean, I'll honestly, if I'm gonna run this at a tournament, I'm gonna be giving a handout with the measurements. Otherwise, people are gonna take bloody forever.
People are gonna take forever no matter what.
True, but I mean, when 90% of them are like this, or like long ways, or like Dawn of War, the old Dawn of War, then yeah, the ones that are a little bit funky are going to be a real problem. Okay. All right. So alpha and beta objectives. Prime objectives. The objectives in this battle are prime objectives. Unless noted otherwise, the prime objective cannot be removed from the battlefield. Okay. So there are rules where the second the player that goes second, I think it's after the second battle round, can remove an objective. So this stops that rule, which is pretty neat. At the start of each battle round, for determining who has the first turn, roll a d3. The objective with the corresponding number is the alpha objective for that battle round, and the other two objectives are the beta objectives for that battle round. Okay, so score 2 victory points if you control the alpha objective. Okay, and score 1 point for each beta objective you control. Or 2 victory points if you completed your battle tactic. So you don't get the extra points for holding more, which is nice. Okay, and then each player scores 3 victory points at the end of the battle if they completed their grand strategy. I'm seeing a trend here, so that it doesn't look like they're going to change that. Every single one's been 5 battle rounds, which I'm assuming that this is going to stay as well. And this is the same. I'm gonna make these sticks just trivialize deployment. Oh, that's true. Just make like 15-inch sticks and 11-inch sticks, and then also 9-inch sticks. Man, you're gonna have a lot of sticks.
Go to a tournament, end up playing pickup sticks.
Yeah. He's gonna have a bunch of just delinquents just going around whipping each other.
Okay, there's a reason we used to call them the red sticks of death.
Yeah, the whippy sticks.
Still have welts from that.
Right. A man of culture. So you must be 9 away from your attacker's territory. This one was a really neat setup. I like this one from the past objectives, or past GHBs as well. It was really neat how you're just like in the corner and then you're kind of spreading out, and then usually there's like a rotation of the armies. It's pretty neat. So altars of the beast. The normal rules for objective marker control and contesting objectives are not used. The only ways to gain control of an objective are as follows. A friendly leader unit finishes a move other than a retreat move within 3 inches of the objective, and no enemy leader is within 3 inches of the objective. An attack made with a melee weapon by a friendly leader unit within 3 inches of the objective destroys an enemy leader unit within 3 inches of the objective. Once you gain control of an objective, it remains under your control until your opponent gains control of it, and until There's no friendly leader unit within 3 inches of it. Oh, this one's brutal. This one's brutal. Yeah, this is places of power again. Yeah, this one's always been rough to play. Yeah, this really hasn't changed except they have the extra here. So you score 1 victory point if you control at least one if you hold 2, and then you score 1 if you hold more, which they didn't have before. But it would accumulate. Like, say the old mission, it was like I would hold this for 3 turns. So like first turn I get 1 point. If I held it for 2 turns, I got 2 points. And if I held it for 3 turns, I got 3 points. And that was per objective. So it doesn't snowball anymore, which I like. It keeps the opponent in the game for longer. And it changes the pacing in the game. So but that's something we're gonna have to get used to. That the pacing in the game is gonna change, and the battle tactics are coming into effect quite a bit. Score 2 victory points if you completed the battle tactic you picked that turn. So like normally you'd get 1, but on this mission you get 2. You wouldn't get 3. Well, that's how I've read it. I don't think you would get 1 for getting it and then getting it that's like a bonus. It would say it's a bonus. Anyways, this one's punishing. This is really punishing. If you don't have survivable heroes, this mission could be really punishing for you. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more missions to go through. Okay, so the Vice. There's another prime objective, and I'm assuming it moves. Prime objectives. Objectives in this battle are prime objectives. Unless noted otherwise, prime objectives cannot be removed from the battlefield. Yeah, I mean, honestly, they've been very clear with this edition since day one, and I'm loving the state that it's in right now. I'll state the obvious. I can see some armies being great at specific ones, but other armies being great at other ones. Yes, Cactus. That's always been the case. Like some armies, like Daughters of Cain is going to lap this mission up. Because you got Marathi Cain that can't die. Get the little Marathi on this objective and big Marathi over here. Just park her on there and they're not going to die. Like if they get turn 1. Wait, hold on. Let's see. Normal rules. Used. And the unit finishes a move.
Yeah, if they get turn 1, they just pop them onto their normal move.
Usually it's the objectives don't open until second turn to counteract that. So let's make sure that we're not missing something here. Normal rules for objective markers. Control for contesting objectives are not used. The only ways to gain control is as follows. Finishes the movement. Yeah, no, it looks like it unlocks turn 1. So this one might become an issue.
Alpha Strike is back in Sigmar.
Yeah. No, it's the Alpha objective grab.
Yeah, Alpha objective grab. Sorry.
It's so
More
aggressive.
specific.
So aggressive. Yeah. So I could see this being an issue. Might need some fixing in the another GHB, because unlocking first round is an issue.
Just park a giant on each of them.
Right. And like That's
and it
gonna
says
take.
you control
And I
it
don't
until
care.
they
I don't
control
care
it.
what army you were playing. It's gonna take you at least a turn or two to kill that giant or that gargant
Yeah.
off the objective. And it's just like, what do you do at that point? You know what I mean? Like, you need to kill the leader that's on the objective to get the objective.
And then you need to have another leader you can put there.
Right. And they need to stay alive, right? For you to hold it.
Nope.
Yeah, this mission's troublesome. But it's always been kind of it's always kind of been like that, so you don't really see it in tournaments that much. But I mean, maybe if I changed this one a little bit by making it so the objectives only became unlocked after turn 2, then that stops the person from just hopping on the objective with Marathi, Little Marathi and Marathi or Shadow Queen and Marathi on the 2 objectives and just parking on there and winning. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That one's gonna need some fixing in the future, I think. Deployment picks the territory. Name deployment starting with the attacker. Each player must set up their units wholly within 12 of their own territory, more than 12 from the opponent's territory. Okay, so this one's a little bit different. Instead of being 9 inches away, it's 12 inches away. So you're in these squares here, essentially.
It's the old hammer and anvil deployment.
Right.
12 inches away from the center.
Although, so this is where this grid system kind of fails them right here, is because this is 15 inches, this length here.
Yes.
And it's going to be 12. So, like...
Well, that's why they just gave the territory as the entire thing up to the middle board.
Right. So, it's one of those things that it might confuse some people, but just make sure that you're 12 away from this line. And then you could be anywhere in here, basically. Essentially.
Yeah.
The Vice, at the start of the second battle round, which is what I was looking for in the other mission, before determining who has first turn, each objective is moved to a new location as shown on the map. Oh. So they crisscross. Neat.
Wait, what?
So it's going like... So there's one here, one here, one here, one here. And then they move here, 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 here. And then...
They all move into the center?
I don't know. Let's see. At the start of the 4th... Okay, hold on. Moved the location as shown on the map. So it would move here. At the start of the 4th battle round, before determining who has first turn, remove 3 objectives from the battlefield so that 1 remains in the place. That is cool. So you're all just going, just smashing in the middle. I like this mission.
As do I.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. So like you could battle for these 3 and trying to get a head, like trying to get a point, or you could just fight for the middle and then try and get ahead that way. Like, and make up points that way. Oh, I like this mission. This one's definitely going to be played by me at my local tournaments, because I like this. This is really neat.
This make me want to play Sigmar tomorrow instead of 40k.
Yep. This is exactly why I switched from 40k. The missions are so fun and unique, and each time you're playing, you're not only playing against a different army, but you're also playing a mission that is so drastically different from the last one that, like, say I played against Sylvaneth and I could normally dominate them, but or like say I play against Daughters of Cain on this mission, it's almost like an auto loss for me, right? But on this mission, it's not so much an auto loss for me. So like the mission has a big play on how you're gonna react to your opponent's army and how your army is gonna act against and for the mission. But they have the same scoring as all the other ones. You hold 1, hold 2, and hold more, right? So you can try and get ahead that way on this mission, but at the end there's only going to be 1 at turn 4, which means there's only
And 5.
right. So there's only 2 turns where you can try and. But if you hold the single one by turn 4 and 5, you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then probably. Hopefully grabbing at least 2 more victory points per turn. So there's a way to swing back in. Right? But yeah, I'm definitely running this one. This one's going to be fun. Calling it now. This is going to be in Rusty Puck. The TTS. This is definitely going to be run by me. But that might be the first one, maybe. I think that'll be like a really fun game to start off as. Oh, God, another one of these.
Yay.
Why? Why GW? I mean, I love how you're being creative, but like at the same time, not. I love how you're trying. But can you stop with stop with this, please. This is too complicated for some people.
Instructions unclear.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely be making a measurement guide for this stuff because that's going to drive people crazy.
I mean, you saw how long it took us to figure it out.
Well, and I have already played this mission, so I roughly knew what it was. Imagine if you were just coming in and never played this mission before. That's what I have to prepare for. Right?
So you have to prepare for me.
Why are they using Mario stairs so much? I don't know, but they also have like the reverse polarity, so it's like you're also playing Mario Galaxy. So you have the upside down stairs as well. So let's see. So this is the one we played. This one has no reserves. So
that's weird.
Okay, so Tooth and Nail. This is the one I played. This is the first mission that I played with Spleen Thief. So basically the prime objectives, these 2 here. Unless noted otherwise, these cannot be removed from the table. Now, I had second turn throughout the whole game. No reserves. That was a big thing. So if anything's coming from Deep Strike or coming in from reserves, like I have the tunneling from my Rune Smiter, you can't do that. So everything has to be deployed on the table. Then you got Fatigued Warriors. Summon units cannot shoot or charge in the turn in which they were added to the army. So say you're playing against demons and they summon in a unit of demons. They cannot move, they cannot shoot, they cannot charge the turn they come in. To kind of counteract that you can't have any reserves, but it doesn't flat out say you can't summon. Which I think that's really neat. That's a unique rule that I like. That I hope they do more of. And then you get the hold 1, hold 2, and hold more than your opponent. So this is kind of like a standard that's in most missions now. But yeah, so your opponent can't remove these, but they can remove these if they're not. If they, say they got ahead and held these 3 and were second battle round and they had lost this flank completely, they could remove that from the table. They can't remove these because these are the prime objectives. Overall, this is a really fun mission, but it's just the deployment type that this gives me a headache. Feral Foray. The armies. The winner chooses which player's attacker or defender, like the others. The battlefield. The defender sets up the battlefield first and set up objectives as shown on the map. Then they set up their recommended number of terrain. You're not going to do that in a tournament. It's already going to be set up for you. Deployment. Attacker picks their territory, and the other territory is defender's territory. Players then use alternating deployment, which is in page 11 of the core rules. From the start of the second battle round, after you score victory points, you can raid one objective that you control that is wholly within your opponent's territory and that is within 1 inch of a friendly unit. If you do so, you score 1 additional victory point. The objective is then removed from. Oh, so this is like the old Scorched Earth, but you have to have a unit within 1 inch of the objective instead of like being able to set fire to it while you're like across the table. You cannot raid more than 1 objective per turn. That's another huge thing that like they fixed Scorched Earth, in my opinion. Before that, you used to be able to just like go across the table and like just gonna set fires and then like come back if you're fast enough. Now you have to stay there to burn. I really like that. I like that. And then you have the standard right here with the 1, hold 2, hold more, and then the 2 points for the battle tactic, which is really nice. All right, I think, is that all of them? Nope. We have 2 more. So power and numbers. Deployment is the same. The backbone of success. If there are any battle line units within 6 inches of an objective, then only models with battle line units can contest the objective. See, that wording is crucial when it comes to one of the battle tactics. So Lemon, I know you were muted, but remember when we said that wording for that was really weird? Well, they specifically worded it that way for this mission. So they thought ahead. That's I love that. It's not something we're not used to yet, but I'm hoping that's something we can look forward to in the future. So each player scores victory points at the end of each of their turns. Score 2 victory points if you completed the battle tactic you picked that turn. Starting from the second battle round, at the end of each of their turns, a player can destroy 1 or more of the objectives they control in order to score the following victory points. If the player gained control of the objective in this turn, they score 1 victory point. If the player controlled the objective at the end of their last turn and has not lost control of it since they score 2 victory points. If the player controlled an objective at the end of your turn not lost it, they score 4 victory points. Ooh, okay. I'm liking what they're doing with this. So you need to burn these objectives to score these points. So this turn, this is very like this is the focus, is your battle tactics. And then you try and maximize this by defending certain objectives and trying to deny your opponent objectives as well. And then you can get up to 8 victory points per objective. And it has a preference in battle line units, so it's almost like objective secured. If more than one of these criteria are met for the same objective, only the one that scores the most victory points applies. Once destroyed, the objective is removed from play. I can see a lot of people fucking this one up by not remembering when they took the objective. Yeah, that could be an issue. That could be an issue. Normally you kind of know though. It's pretty obvious. Maybe having counters by having had this, say I have some counters that have numbers on them. So what I could do is okay, I captured that turn 1, right? So if I had that for gain control of the objective in the first battle round and has not lost control of it, I would score the 8. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can put a die on it. Like I have some counters from Star Wars Legion that have numbers on it. So I could put gained control of it on turn 4. You know? Tokens will be very, very useful for this one. And then Veins of Gur. Deployment. Oh, but there will be an event where a mid-table fucks it up and calls you over. Yeah, 100%. Then I'm going to be like, well, that objective doesn't count? I don't know. If you guys then reset the clock. I don't know. I don't know what else to do. If it's one that's been contested the whole game, yeah, replay the entire game. Yeah, just make that, delete that objective. I don't know. What do you want from me? 3 objectives are set up during the battle. The first objective is set up at the start of the second battle round before determining who has the first turn. The second and third objectives are set up at the start of the third battle round before determining who has the first turn. Each objective corresponds to a line of battlefield C map, and set up each objective, roll 2d6 and set up where its corresponding line crosses the line. Okay, I gotcha. So you set it up, you roll a 2 to 6, you put it here, 7 here, 8 to 12 here. So you're more likely to get it on these two ends than in the center. Now there used to be a D3, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I guess they wanted it to land over here more instead of having an even chance of just being in the center of the table. and each the objectives are in this battle are prime objectives, so you can't remove them. Each player scores victory points at the end of each of their turns as follows: score a number of victory points equal to the number of current battle round for each objective you control. So this is a callback to a lot of um, AOS 2 missions. Okay, and then score 2 victory points if you completed the battle tactic you picked that turn. Okay, so that I like that. I like this mission. It's a little spiky if like because you kind of have to deploy differently. You have to have like maybe one little unit over here, and then have like one unit your army kind of like in this section here, and like control this half of the board and hope it doesn't all fall over here, or at least have the option of like deploying or like deep striking. You know, like as a Fire Slayer player, I'm slow, so I'm usually setting up here and having maybe one unit here and one unit here, and then that way I can push up this way, and then I'll just push the center to where the other objectives landed. And if it lands over here and the 2 are over here or whatever, I just go, okay, this is mine now. That sort of stuff. But like honestly, so hands down, this GW gets A plus on this book, like A plus plus. I couldn't ask for a better. Like they even have rules index here for the core rules, like everything that you need, everything you want. Like so I could have this just like this on the table, and then this is all the information I need to know. You know, I don't need to know anything else. Like the only thing I could see is like I would do something like this. So I have the battle tactics open like this. Maybe leave that like that, or leave the mission open like this, and then use these for my battle tactics. I do like the fact that they gave you this for your battle tactics, so you can keep on the mission, and then just put like, okay, I use this one up, then I flip it over, and I'm gonna use this one, right? The only problem is you're gonna want to put like a die of how many you've gotten for that. Just make sure you're keeping track of your victory points and your how many battle tactics you've gotten. But yeah, honestly, this is probably the best GHB they've one of my least favorite deployment types, but I'll give them a pass on that because at least it's unique and different. And that's kind of what you want. And once you've played it enough, you're not going to have problems with it anymore. But like first time around, you guys are going to hate this.
It's a lot easier than some of the old corner missions that they had for 40k.
Right. Exactly. Or like you'd have like one strip over here and then one strip over here, or like one L strip over here or something that they had in some old missions.